video games really started getting popular around the 1980s or the 1970s, or should I say 1970s to 1980s, sorry, with arcade machines popping up all over the place. It was Everyone was having fun, everything was fine until 1983 when the video game crash hit. Critics were calling it a fad, and businesses who made video games, well, were going out of business. Or should I say companies, sorry. It wasn't until Nintendo released the NES, or otherwise known as the Nintendo Entertainment System. The success of the NES stopped the video game crash, and companies started pumping out video games again. Now, the term independent has been around for ages, whether it be related with movies or songs, whatever, you name it. Independent games really started to pop up around the 90s with shareware. Shareware is software that is meant to be shared around with people you know. Most of these shareware games were made by independent programmers experimenting what they could do. It wasn't really until the internet started getting popular. In 2004, Daisuke Amiya released a game that he was working on since 1999 called Cave Story. It was a platformer shooters inspired by games like Retroid and Super Mario. The game was a hit and influenced the indie games industry for years to come. Now cut to today, where multiple independent developers are releasing indie games all over the world, where multiple people love and play the games they make. Now then, the difference between AAA and indie. AAA studios really are the big dudes like Nintendo, Microsoft, or others, while independent studios are people like Running with Scissors or Devolver. Devolver's a publishing company. Sorry. You know what I mean. The difference between both types of companies in the indie games industry has way less people compared to the AAA industry. Because the AAA industry has at least 100 people working on a game, and independent studios have 50 or less. Now, that isn't entirely the case sometimes, but it is the case with most times. Now, people nowadays have started playing more indie games than AAA games due to AAA games being either sold as cash grabs with unneeded story elements or something along the lines of that. Pretty much a lot of AAA games nowadays are garbage, while indie games have been loved and praised due to the amount of love, passion, and soul that goes into these projects. Now, not all AAA games are bad. You can have games like BioShock or Elden Ring or the Elder Scrolls, you name it. But it's really shown that nowadays indie games have more passion than, let's say, Halo Master Chief Collection on launch day. It's kind of sad to see that indie games have more passion, love, and soul put into their projects than AAA games. Plus, indie games really bring more unique ideas to the table nowadays than the 100 Call of Duty game. Here's the thing. People have their own opinions. They could either like AAA games more than indie games, or they like indie games more than AAA. You know what I mean? Everyone has their own opinions, and that's fine. Even some indie games can achieve AAA levels of success. For example, Minecraft. That started as a game made by a singular man, Marcus Persson. It slowly, over time, expanded into something way bigger than it normally was. Thus coming 2014, when it was bought up by Microsoft, which personally I think was a bad idea to be sold to Microsoft. But I digress. It really depends. Your success really depends on your audience. Thank you.